This video is to help you with the worksheet on density problems using the MDV triangle. The directions say solve the following problems showing the formula used, numbers in the formula, and an answer in complete sentence. Show all work done and calculate all answers to the nearest tenth. To start off, let's create a triangle. Break that triangle up into 3 sections. Place the letter M at the top of the triangle, D to the left, and V to the right. The M stands for mass, the D stands for density, the V stands for volume. The triangle allows us to remember the formula for density. Density is equal to the mass over the volume. The triangle allows us to figure out the formula used to find volume. Volume is equal to mass divided by density. And the triangle allows us to figure out what the mass is. Mass is equal to density times volume. Let's look at the first question. A rock specimen has a mass of 125.6 grams and a volume of 35 milliliters. What is the rock's density? Since I want to find the density, I'm going to use the density formula that density equals mass divided by volume. Next, I'm going to plug in the values. The mass, according to this, is 125.6. And I'll put G for grams. The volume is 35 milliliters. I'll put mLs for milliliters. Taking the numbers and placing them in the calculator, I get 125.6 divided by 35. My answer comes out to be 3.5885. The instructions say to round to the nearest tenth, so looking at the hundredth place being above 5, this becomes 3.6. The units are just as important. The units we see are grams over milliliters, and I can write that as G over mL. So let's take a look at the second problem. A mineral specimen has a density of 5.6 grams per milliliter and a volume of 27 milliliters. Calculate the mineral's mass. And since we want mass, we can go back to the triangle. If covering off mass happens, we have density times volume. Here's our formula. So we're going to write the formula we're going to use, which is mass is equal to density times volume. We're going to plug in our values. The density in this problem is 5.6 grams per milliliter. Times the volume, which is 27 milliliters. Now, paying attention to the units here, milliliters over here is in a numerator, over here it's in a denominator, so that the milliliters actually cancel each other out. That'll be an important part of our answer. Placing the numbers in the calculator, I get 5.6 times 27 for a total of 151.2. And the units would be the leftover G here, which stands for grams. And for those of you who are familiar with mass, you might know that mass is measured in terms of grams sometimes. Let's look at the last one as an example here. A piece of metal has a mass of 207.3 grams, density of 7.3 grams per milliliter. What is the volume? This time I want to find volume. To find volume, that's mass divided by density. The mass was 207.3 grams. The density was 7.3 grams per milliliter. Now, an interesting thing happens here. I have a numerator divided by a numerator in the denominator, and I have a denominator left over here. And what happens in this case is the denominator left over here becomes part of the answer's numerator. Get the number 207.3 divided by 7.3 gives me a value of 28.39, and as we said, we were going to round to the nearest 10, so 28.4, and the answer would be in terms of milliliters. So the volume here was equal to 28.4 milliliters. All right, using the same strategy, here you would figure out the density, here you would figure out the mass, here you would figure out the volume, and on the back, you also have to figure out things like the volume and density of an object and the mass and the density. Well, good luck with that. It should be something that you can do, and I hope this video has helped.